That's right, it's time to delve once again into the world of Hyrule Warriors. A while ago I did a video of my top 5 loved and hated character weapon combinations, but since then there have been a load of new characters and weapons added into the mix. As all the DLC has now been released, it's about time I did a new video to incorporate it all. Many of the rules from the previous video will still apply, but if you haven't seen it yet, here's a link that will get you all caught up. Seeing as some characters have several weapons to choose from, I'm still going to say that each character can only appear once in each top 5. Of course, the fun factor will be an element of how each weapon is judged, but there are several other things I'll be taking into account, such as how well they can dispatch the hordes of enemies you come across. It's not necessarily about power, but those that have multiple combos that are good for wiping out massive gangs will fare better. I'll also be considering if they have a combo that can quickly reduce a boss's weak point to enable faster finishing blows. Effectiveness of special attacks and finishing blows when battling large groups of enemies will also be taken into consideration, though I do plan on doing a top 5 loved and hated special attacks video, so I won't be talking about those too much. I'll be looking at the characters as they are normally, so someone may be an unstoppable badass if they have hasty attacks, but I'll be judging them as they are without it, seeing as it's a bit unfair to say one character with their weakness nullified is better than another character as they are normally. Remember, this is purely my opinion, so if your loved or hated doesn't appear, I didn't forget about them. It's just that with around 45 weapons narrowed down to 5 loved and hated, there are going to be a lot of weapons left out. I think that's about everything covered, so without further ado, let's get this train in motion. Lynx gauntlets. I had it on my loved list before and I still love it. There seems to be an abundance of dark or light weapons, but electric seems to be particularly neglected, so it's great to have a really awesome electric weapon, and the gauntlets are so much fun. Come on, the tier 3 version is a chain chomp. A smacking chain chomp! Throwing that ball around and wrecking the crowds with lightning never gets dull. I tend to use what I call the electric barrage combo, but if I end up ripping up one of the columns and hurling it around, I'm more than happy to be ramming it down my opponent's throat. Combos can't easily be cancelled once started, so if something happens and you want to get out of the way, you're a bit stuffed. He may not be great at getting down a boss's weak point, but for his finishing blow against captains, he rips up the floor and launches it at them, which has gotta hurt. His special attack is genius, blocking the ball into the ground and using it to fling the planet, damaging anyone in a fairly large circle around you. Even his end of stage victory scene is cool. Don't worry, I won't do a top 5 loved and hated victory scenes. Probably. Everything about this weapon drips fun and I love it. Medley's Rito Harp. I'll admit she wasn't in the list originally, but the person who was here ended up kicking ass during the footage capturing, so I had to rearrange things a bit, and after some deliberation, it ended up being Medley that got downgraded. I loved Medley in The Wind Waker, and I really wanted to like her in Hyrule Warriors, but I've never been that keen on her. Most of her combos are a bit naff, though granted, her combo 6 is pretty awesome, and that combo is okay at whittling away a boss's weak point, but it's not enough to allow her to do her finishing blow in one round. Her finishing blow against captains is alright, but her special attack is just plain awful. It covers a very small area, and even when used against a large crowd, you can't hit that many enemies. The confused bit after is a great nod to her early bit in The Wind Waker, and is another reason why I wanted to like her, but she's just not got enough going for her. Wizzrobe's ring. This one might get me some hate, as even though he wasn't on my previous top 5 list, a lot of people commented about how bad Wizzrobe is, but I think he kicks ass. He has 2 main combos I tend to use way too much. His beam for dealing with captains, then either the beam or spin for dealing with crowds. His spin is absolutely amazing at depleting a boss's weak points, possibly even one of the most effective in the game, so he can make short work of bosses. His finishing blow against captains is good, essentially being an improved version of the beam combo, but due to the range and size of the beam, it can affect quite a few other people as well. His special attack, like Lynx gauntlets, affects an area around him, and the range is quite large, so even large groups can be annihilated. Granted, his attack pattern is rather slow, but it's quick enough and effective enough to be able to cause a lot of havoc pretty quickly. King of the Red Lions is Sale, one of the newest additions to the game, and one is not impressed. I wanted to like him and I've gotten used to him over the months, but he's still not clicking with me. He's quite clunky to control and his combos aren't especially good. Granted, his combo 6 is alright and it does okay at getting the boss's weak point down, but his direct combo and other combos aren't really worth using. Okay, his combo 4 has a few uses, but even then, it's not exactly a crowd destroyer. His special attack is meh at best, and his finishing blow on captains is similar to Agatha's, but not as effective, so those can't save him. Sia's Scepter. Yep, another dark character, but Sia makes such short work of crowds, it's insane. I tend to just use her ground wave to absolutely destroy everything. The range isn't great, but it does cover a fair area, and as you can do it 3 times per combo, you can easily get a lot of KOs very quickly. When it comes to a boss in their weak point, using the Dark Lynx summon a couple of times works wonders. It can be a tad easy to accidentally use the wrong combo, which means you won't get the weak point down to do the finishing blow, but as long as you keep calm and press the right buttons, it'll be fine. Her finishing blow against captains is alright. It can draw in nearby enemies, but they do need to be quite nearby in order to get caught. Her special attack, on the other hand, rules. It creates a load of dark energy circles on the floor, which then gradually erupt, and each circle is a separate attack. It can end up hitting enemies multiple times, so even stronger enemies end up getting destroyed. Zant's Scimitars. He was in my previous top 5 hated list, so I won't talk about Zant and his scimitars too much, but his erratic attack pattern, poor combos bar one, naff special attack and okay I suppose finishing blow keep him in the hated list. His stored energy attacks are pretty good, especially the whirlwind one, and his combo 6 can take out quite a large group of enemies, but it has such a large recovery time it leaves you open for taking a beating. He has nothing that can be used to quickly deal with the boss's weak point, but some people commented on the previous video saying his spinning ball energy combo was great at doing that, so I tried it and it was crap. I decided to give it a fair chance to redeem itself and tried again. It was still crap. But I thought maybe I did something wrong, so I did it a few more times, and guess what? It's crap. Midna's Shackle. Yes, she's still in my love list and for good reason. She absolutely decimates everything. I mentioned in my previous list there was one combo I tend to stick with, and I still do, but it covers such a large area you can wipe out whole armies in a short amount of time. Not only that, but it's also great for whittling down a boss's weak point, and due to the large area the attack covers, you'll still get in a few hits even if your aim is off slightly. Her other combos might not be as good at defeating the boss's weak point, but she certainly has a few that will help against the hordes. Her special attack is a tad on the iffy side, as it affects a set area a certain distance in front of you, rather than just what's around you or in front of you, so aiming it where it'll be most effective can be a tad difficult, but it still has its uses. Her finishing blow against captains may not be the best in the game, but it's still fairly good and can hit a few enemies. I'm not saying her finishing blow and special attacks are bad, she wouldn't be my second favourite character if they were, they're just not amazing. Even so, she kicks some major ass all day and I love her. Lana's Summoning Gates. In the last video, I ended up choosing to have Lana's start from the top 5 hated list due to the novelty of summoning the bosses using the Summoning Gates, but in terms of a crowd destroyer, it's awful. It sounds okay on paper. You can summon the 4 main boss creatures using the combos, but you can randomly summon one of them without a combo, so that if you then summon that same boss as part of the combo, the summon is enhanced. Sounds great, right? Well, it's really awkward to use. The main attack combo sucks start to finish, and while the heavy attack combos can be useful, especially when enhanced, getting them to work like that is far too much of a faff. Being able to use the summons at a time that will put them to the most use will be more luck than skill, which really doesn't help in the heat of battle when you're about to get 27 clubs up the jacksie. I like to give credit where credit is due, and the special attack is pretty decent due to its long range, and the finishing blow is okay I suppose, but on the whole, the weapon sucks. It's great for the max rupee glitch, but that's about it. Before announcing my top pick, here are some honourable mentions. Lana's Book of Sorcery. Probably no surprise to those who saw my previous list, as the book was number 1 before and it's still number 1. Pretty much everything is covered. It's great fun, has some sweet combos, can destroy a boss's weak point, a devastating special attack, and a finishing blow that's not bad, I guess. Just like with Midna, the finishing blow isn't amazing but certainly has its uses, and everything else is so awesome she can deal with pretty much anything that gets thrown her way. I've loved the Book of Sorcery for a long time and have some very fond memories of using the book to destroy my enemies quite early on in the game, so I may be a tad biased with this one due to rose tinted glasses, but every time I use it I have a great time, so it can't just be those memories that are keeping it at number 1. I kinda hope Lana appears in Breath of the Wild, even though I know the chances of that happening are pretty much 0, so it's great she's such a cool character in Hyrule Warriors. Before naming and shaming my most hated weapon, here are some dishonourable mentions. Lynx Horse. She was number 1 last time and she still is. Honestly, I hadn't used Lynx Horse at all since the last video, and trying her out again for this video hasn't changed my opinion. I say Lynx Horse rather than Epona because A, that's what the weapon is actually called, and B, I'm not going to sully Epona's good name by linking her to this thing. Again, I won't talk about her too much, seeing as I went through all the issues I had in the last video, but to sum up, she's all over the place. Having her lunge forward with each strike, or even jump around the room, makes it very difficult to attack the person you're wanting to. She can't even reduce a boss's weak point reliably, because as you're trying to slice it up, she's jumping around so you're seriously menacing the air, rather than the giant creature having a snooze 10 feet away. It's funky that Link incorporates his bow into some of the combos, but none of the combos are especially effective at dealing with the hordes of enemies. Both her special attack and finishing blow could do with an upgrade. Actually, pretty much everything could do with an upgrade. Any minor redeeming qualities that I haven't yet found are far outweighed by her annoyances. And there we have it. It was a very difficult list to make, and there are a lot of weapons I would have liked to talk about, but didn't get the opportunity. So if your most loved or hated wasn't in the list, it's probably just because I loved or hated someone else more. The loved and hated special attacks video will soon be underway, so until then, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.